Hello, this is a short video clip to help teachers decide on the best set of BTEC teacher judgment grades for your students, considering now that the summer exams have been cancelled. So how can ALPS help? Well, all centres will be submitting teacher judgment grades for GCSE A-levels and vocational courses, but as vocational course teachers, you're in a much stronger position than the GCSE A-level teachers, as you've done many assessments and have built up evidence to support these grades. Connect Interactive will allow you to compare these judgment grades to previous results and review how previous tracking grades compare to actual results. So in Connect Interactive, when you first come into it, it's important just to check what your primary grade point is set to. So if we want to look at results, we need to just change that so it's looking at your past results. The strategic analysis section is a good place to start if you know that you've got a mixture of 2010 and 2016 BTECs. So if I create a BTEC report in here, and then we look at the subject value overview page, what we can see here then is that we were doing the 2010 BTECs up until 2017, and we then switched to the new BTECs with the external assessments from 18 onwards. If we have a look at the applied science course, then we can see we had outstanding results on the 2010 grades 3 and 2 and top 25%. When we moved to the 16s, we had a bit of a dip in performance as we're getting used to those qualifications, but we can see again applied science is grades 5 and grade 4. So if we go back to our home page and then we look at the subject analysis, what you can see here is that I've used the mix and match option to combine 2 years' work, 2 sets of results, and then the current monitoring. So what this means is that this monitoring point 2 is actually my teacher judgment grades. Let's have a look at applied science in a little bit more detail. So remembering that we've had a 5 and a 4, and in our current we predicted in monitoring point 1 a grade 6 and our judgment grades of grade 5. So we're possibly being a little bit harsh compared to our track record. So once we get into the overview page, this shows the breakdown by gender and disadvantage. We've got teachers. But what I'm interested in then is the teaching sets. We've got one teaching set that is much more pessimistic than the other. So let's have a look at that in a little bit more detail. So if we go to the Students tab, then what we can see here then is the ALPS minimum expected grade, the personalised target that's been agreed between the teacher and the student, and the actual grades. So my first thought looking at these grades is there aren't any D stars at all being suggested by the staff. What we can do is we can turn on the what if, and we can drag up the thermometer, and we can see that 3 students will need to improve by 40 points in order to be an ALPS grade 5. Remember that because it's a diploma, that it's worth 2 A-levels, and that this is 40 points per entry, then we need to be thinking that of 6 grade improvements. Now quite often, because there's some rounding in the calculation, it usually leads less students than the calculation suggests. So while we haven't got any of these stars, let's focus on moving some of these merits to distinctions. Now you'll know your students, so you'll be going down this looking carefully at the grades. But as we go down here, what we can see then is changing a few merits to distinctions. We've now come up to be an ALPS grade 5. So the most important aspect of submitting the judgment grades is that taking into account all the evidence that they are a fair reflection of the student abilities, whereas internal monitoring grades can sometimes reflect more of a current working at position. Within this subject of applied science, if we then looked at the other teaching set and see if we could move some of those to an ALPS grade 4, then that would give us a much fairer representation of the outcomes for our students. So hopefully this video short will help you arrive at the best possible set of teacher judgment grades for your students. Thank you.